Take a slow breath in, not too deep, just enough to notice it. And as you breathe out, allow the weight of the day to loosen its grip on you. Let your shoulders sink gently downward, as if gravity itself has decided to be kind tonight. Your jaw softens, your tongue rests easily in your mouth, and the small muscles around your eyes begin to relax. There is nothing you need to achieve here, nothing you need to focus on perfectly. Simply being present with the sound of my voice is already enough. Even if your thoughts wander, that is fine. They can drift like clouds, passing slowly, without needing your attention. As you continue breathing slowly and comfortably, imagine the space around you becoming calmer. The air feels slightly warmer now, steady and safe, as though a quiet evening fire burns somewhere nearby. Each sound fades into the background, leaving only a gentle sense of stillness. You may feel your body becoming heavier against the bed or chair beneath you, supported fully, held without effort. With every breath out, you sink a little deeper into rest, allowing sleep to approach in its own time, at its own pace. And when you are ready, without any rush at all, our story today begins. Our story today begins in a medieval town resting quietly under the cover of night. Its narrow stone streets empty and still, its wooden doors closed gently against the cool evening air. The town lies between soft hills and a vast forest. A forest so old that even the people who live nearby no longer remember when it first took root. The moon hangs low above the rooftops, pale and watchful, casting silver light across chimneys, wells, and worn cobblestones smoothed by centuries of footsteps. Most of the town sleeps now, wrapped in blankets and dreams, while the night hums softly with distant crickets and the faint sigh of wind brushing through leaves. At the far edge of this sleeping town stands a modest stone building, small and unassuming, its walls thick and its windows narrow. From one window a warm amber glow spills gently into the darkness, like a quiet secret meant only for the night. Inside this room, an alchemist works alone, not hurried, not restless, but calm in a way that comes only from long practice and patience. This is not an alchemist chasing gold or power. This is an alchemist devoted to balance, to rest, and to the quiet healing of the human spirit. The room is simple, yet full of life. Shelves line the walls, holding glass vials, clay jars, and bundles of herbs tied carefully with twine. Dried lavender hangs from a wooden beam, releasing a faint floral scent whenever the air shifts. Chamomile rests nearby, its small blossoms pale and calming, alongside lemon balm leaves, sage, and valerian root. A single candle burns at the center of a sturdy wooden table, its flame steady, its light soft, creating slow-moving shadows that sway gently across the stone walls, as if the room itself is breathing. The alchemist moves slowly, deliberately, each motion unforced. Glass touches glass with a quiet clink, delicate and reassuring rather than sharp. In medieval times, such sounds were familiar companions to healing before clocks ruled the night. Rhythm and repetition guided both work and rest. The alchemist pours clear water into a small copper pot, the liquid catching the candlelight for a moment before settling. The pot is placed over low embers from the hearth, not a roaring fire, just enough warmth to coax calm from the ingredients that will soon be added. As the water begins to warm, the alchemist pauses, resting both hands lightly on the edge of the table, breathing slowly. This pause is intentional. Medieval healers believed that stillness allowed the body's natural balance to return. that too much action could disturb the delicate harmony between mind and body. In this quiet moment, the room feels especially peaceful, wrapped in the soft crackle of cooling embers and the distant, rhythmic chorus of night insects beyond the window. The alchemist begins again, reaching for a bundle of lemon balm. The leaves are crumbled gently between fingertips, releasing a soft, green scent into the air before falling into the warming water. Lemon balm, long known even in medieval times, was believed to ease anxious thoughts and soften troubled dreams. Next comes chamomile, sprinkled slowly, each small flower floating briefly before sinking, as if finding its place. Finally, a measured amount of valerian root is added, respected for its strength and used carefully, never rushed. A wooden spoon stirs the mixture slowly, clockwise, then pausing, then clockwise again. The sound is subtle, a quiet swirl, steady and rhythmic, echoing the natural pace of breath. Steam begins to rise in thin, curling threads, drifting upward and dissolving into the candlelit air. The scent in the room deepens, warm and comforting, like a meadow just after sunset. If you imagine this steam now, you may feel it soften your own thoughts, gently blurring the edges of the day until only calm remains. Outside, the forest seems to respond. Leaves rustle faintly, not from wind, but from the slow settling of branches and the small movements of nocturnal creatures. The night feels alive, yet deeply peaceful, as if every living thing has agreed to move gently, quietly, in respect for rest. The alchemist lifts the pot from the heat and sets it carefully on a folded cloth, allowing the tonic to rest. This resting period is just as important as the brewing itself, a belief held by many medieval practitioners who trusted that time and patience were powerful allies. The candle flickers softly, casting long, slow shadows across the room. The alchemist watches the steam rise and fade, breathing calmly, knowing that this tonic is not meant to force sleep, but to invite it. And just as the tonic rests now, so do you. Your body remains supported, your breathing easy, your thoughts unburdened. The night continues its gentle watch, and the story, like sleep itself, unfolds slowly, naturally, without effort. He, alchemist, remains still for a long moment, allowing the tonic to settle and cool, knowing that rest is not something to be rushed. In medieval understanding, sleep was believed to arrive when the body felt safe enough to release its vigilance, when warmth and calm worked together like old friends. The room feels wrapped in that safety now, the candles steady, the hearth quiet, the night beyond the window slow and patient. You may notice a similar feeling within yourself, a subtle loosening, as though some inner guard has gently stepped aside, trusting the night to take over. Slowly, the alchemist reaches for a small glass vial, clear and simple, its surface catching the candlelight in soft reflections. The tonic is poured carefully, the liquid making a faint, soothing sound as it fills the vessel. In medieval times, glass was precious and symbolic, transparent, fragile, honest. Healers believed that remedies stored in glass carried intention more purely, untouched by metal or stone. The alchemist seals the vial with a cork, pressing it into place with calm certainty, then wraps it in a square of linen, pale and clean, embroidered with a simple symbol for balance. As the vial rests on the table, the alchemist turns toward the narrow window. Outside, the moon has climbed higher, bathing the forest edge in silvery light. Shadows stretch long and soft across the ground, and the trees stand quietly, their branches barely moving. The air feels cooler now, fresher, and the alchemist opens the window just slightly, allowing a gentle breeze to enter the room. It carries the scent of damp earth and leaves, mingling with the herbs and candle wax, creating an atmosphere that feels deeply grounding, deeply old, as if this moment has been repeated countless times across centuries. The alchemist sits on a wooden stool beside the table, posture relaxed, hands resting loosely in his lap. There is no urgency left in the night, only completion. Medieval healers believed that intention mattered, that the state of the healer's mind could influence the effectiveness of a remedy. So the alchemist breathes slowly now, matching the rhythm of the night, letting thoughts become fewer, simpler. You might notice your own breathing doing the same, becoming unforced, natural, steady, as if it has remembered how to breathe on its own. In this quiet sitting, the alchemist reflects on those who will receive the tonic, travelers unable to rest after long roads, villagers weighed down by worry, children troubled by dreams too big for their small bodies. Sleep, in medieval belief, was not just rest, but repair, a nightly return to balance. The body cooled, the mind softened, and the soul wandered freely, gathering itself again. This belief fills the room with a sense of purpose, gentle and reassuring, like a promise whispered rather than spoken aloud. The candle burns lower now, its flame shorter, its light warmer. Shadows deepen, moving even more slowly across the stone walls. The alchemist rises and extinguishes the candle with a soft breath, not blowing sharply, but easing the flame away. Darkness settles into the room, not empty, but fulfilled with moonlight, forest sounds, and the quiet presence of rest. The hearth embers glow faintly, offering just enough light to navigate without effort. The alchemist lies down on a simple bed near the wall, mattress stuffed with straw and wool, surprisingly comfortable. Medieval beds were often shared or sparse, yet sleep came easily when days were lived close to natural rhythms. He pulls a blanket up gently, feeling its familiar weight, and closes his eyes without resistance. The night accepts him immediately, as though he has practiced this surrender many times before, and as the alchemist sleeps, the room seems to breathe with him. The vial of tonic rests silently on the table, complete, calm, waiting. Outside, the forest continues its slow conversation, leaves shifting, insects singing, an owl calling once and then falling quiet again. Time feels different here, stretched and softened, no longer sharp or demanding. You may feel that same softness now, as if time has loosened its hold on you as well. Your thoughts may drift, gently and without structure. Images may come and go, or perhaps only darkness remains, warm and welcoming. There is no need to hold on to anything. Like the alchemist, you are allowed to rest simply because night has arrived. Your body knows what to do. Your breath knows its rhythm. Sleep is not something you must reach, for it is already moving toward you. And as the medieval town sleeps on, wrapped in moonlight and quiet intention, the story continues to unfold slowly, calmly, guiding you further into ease, further into balance, further into rest. As the night grows deeper, the medieval town seems to dissolve into a softer version of itself, edges blurred by moonlight and quiet. Stone walls no longer feel cold, but gently cool, holding the day's warmth within them. Roofs rest under silver light, and narrow streets feel like slow rivers of shadow. Somewhere far off, a dog shifts in its sleep, then settles again, and the sound fades as quickly as it came. Everything now moves at the pace of rest, unhurried, untroubled, as if the world itself has decided to sleep alongside you. Inside the alchemist's chamber, the air grows heavier with calm. The herbs hanging from the beams barely move, responding only to the faintest breath of night air slipping through the open window. In medieval thought, air carried influence. It was believed to shape mood, thought, even dreams. Cool night air was considered especially soothing, capable of cooling overheated minds and quieting restless spirits. As that same imagined air surrounds you now, you may feel it gently clearing space inside your thoughts, creating room for nothing at all. The vial of sleep tonic remains on the table, untouched yet complete. It does not glow or shimmer, because its power is not dramatic. Its strength lies in patience, in the understanding that rest cannot be commanded, only invited. Medieval healers trusted the body's wisdom deeply. They believed the body already knew how to return to balance when given the right conditions. This belief lingers in the room like a quiet reassurance, reminding you that you do not need to force sleep. It will come when it is ready, and that readiness is already forming. Beyond the window, the forest shifts almost imperceptibly. Branches relax. Leaves rest against one another. Even creatures of the night move with care, guided by instinct rather than urgency. An owl glides silently from one tree to another, wings barely disturbing the air. In medieval symbolism, the owl was both watcher and guardian of the night, a reminder that darkness could be gentle, even protective. That same protection seems to settle around you now, a sense that nothing is required of you except rest. The alchemist sleeps deeply, breath slow and even, body fully surrendered to the night. His dreams are simple soft images of herbs growing in moonlit gardens, of water flowing steadily through stone channels, of light fading and returning without concern. Medieval thinkers believed dreams were a way for the soul to stretch, to wander while the body remained safe. You may find your own thoughts beginning to take on that drifting quality now, less linear, more fluid, slipping gently from one image to another. If a thought arises, it does not need to be followed. It can appear, linger briefly, and then dissolve, like mist touched by morning light. There is no need to remember anything, no need to plan for tomorrow. The night holds you completely. Your breathing continues at its own calm rhythm, and with each breath out, your body sinks further into comfort, as though the surface beneath you has grown perfectly shaped to support you. In the quiet hours before dawn, medieval towns often felt suspended outside of time. Without clocks marking every moment, the night belonged entirely to rest. This timelessness fills the story now, stretching moments into something soft and spacious. You may feel as though you are floating gently within this space, neither fully awake nor fully asleep, but comfortably drifting between the two. The herbs in the room release their scents slowly, one after another, blending into a calm, earthy warmth. Lavender softens the edges of thought. Chamomile soothes hidden tension. Lemon balm lightens the weight of the mind. These plants were trusted companions in medieval households, used not only for illness, but for peace. Their presence here is steady and kind, like old friends keeping quiet watch through the night. The moon begins its gradual descent, barely noticeable, yet constant. Its light shifts across the stone floor, tracing slow patterns that change without effort. In medieval belief, the moon governed tides, sleep, and emotional balance. Many healers timed remedies to its phases, trusting its steady influence. As its light continues to move, you may feel your own internal rhythms settling, aligning gently, naturally. Nothing interrupts the calm. No sudden sounds, no sharp movements. Only continuity, only ease. The town, the forest, the alchemist's chamber, and you all part of the same slow, peaceful rhythm now. It feels safe to let go further, safe to drift deeper, safe to allow sleep to take over completely. The night now feels complete, as though it has settled into its deepest, most peaceful form. The medieval town barely seems to exist anymore, not because it has vanished, but because it has become so quiet, so still, that it blends seamlessly into the darkness around it. Stone and wood, street and wall, roof and doorway all rest together, breathing slowly, patiently, with no need to announce their presence. Time stretches softly here, unmeasured and gentle, like a long, steady exhale that never quite ends. Inside the alchemist's chamber, everything remains exactly as it should be. The air is cool and calm, neither heavy nor thin, just comfortable. The herbs hang silently, their shapes barely visible now, yet their presence is felt, steady and reassuring. The vial of tonic rests on the wooden table, wrapped in linen, finished and untouched, as though it understands that its work has already begun simply by existing. Medieval healers often believed that remedies carried influence even before they were used, shaping the atmosphere, calming the spirit through intention alone. That same quiet influence fills the room now. The alchemist sleeps deeply, completely unaware of the passage of hours. His breath is slow, even, and effortless, rising and falling like a tide that knows exactly when to come in and when to recede. There is no tension in his body, no thought pulling him back toward waking. He is fully given to rest, and the night holds him without question. As you imagine this, you may notice your own body responding, mirroring that same surrender, letting go without effort. Outside, the forest has grown quieter still. Even the insects have softened their chorus, leaving long stretches of near silence. A branch shifts once, then settles. A leaf releases itself and drifts downward, landing soundlessly on the ground below. In medieval times, such moments were believed to be filled with unseen balance, as though nature itself paused to realign. That sense of alignment seems to spread outward now, touching everything, including you. Your thoughts, if they appear at all, feel distant, as though they belong to someone else. They arrive without weight, without urgency, and drift away just as easily. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to resolve. The mind has no task left to perform. It can rest as fully as the body does now, sinking into a quiet awareness that requires no effort. The moon continues its slow journey downward, its light thinning, becoming softer, more diffuse. Shadows fade gently rather than disappearing, blending into one another until the room feels wrapped in a soft, protective dimness. Medieval people believed that the darkest hours of night were the most healing, when the world was least disturbed by human activity. This belief settles into the story now, encouraging an even deeper calm, an even greater sense of safety. The hearth embers cool further, glowing faintly, then dimming. There is no need for warmth anymore. The room has reached a perfect balance. The stone walls hold steady, the bed supports the sleeping body, the air remains still and kind. Everything feels exactly where it belongs. You may sense this same feeling in yourself, a quiet certainty that you are supported, that nothing is missing. Breathing continues without instruction, in and out, slow and natural. The body knows how to rest. It has done this countless times before, long before language, long before thought. Medieval healers trusted this instinct deeply, believing that the body carried ancient wisdom passed down through generations. That wisdom is present in you now, guiding you effortlessly toward sleep. If images arise, they are soft and unfocused moonlit fields, drifting steam, slow-moving shadows. If no images come at all, that is just as perfect. Darkness itself can be deeply comforting, a place where nothing needs to be seen, named, or understood. You are allowed to disappear into that darkness now, gently, peacefully. The town remains asleep. The forest remains still. The alchemist rests, his work complete, his intentions fulfilled. And you, too, are resting now, carried by the same quiet rhythm, the same ancient calm that has guided countless nights before this one. And as the story continues, it does not need to add anything new. It only needs to deepen, soften, and fade, guiding you further into rest, further into sleep, further into the quiet, healing dark. The night has reached a point where even the idea of movement feels distant. Everything that needed to settle has already settled. The medieval town, the forest, the alchemist's chamber, and the quiet space where you rest all exist in the same gentle stillness, as if held together by a single, slow breath. There is no separation now, no inside or outside, only a shared calm that stretches softly in every direction. In the alchemist's room, darkness rests comfortably, not heavy, not empty, but full in a quiet way. The shapes of shelves and beams no longer matter. The herbs still hang where they always have, but they do not call for attention. Their work is finished for the night. The vial of tonic remains wrapped in linen, untouched, unnecessary now, because the true medicine has already taken effect. Medieval healers often believed that the most powerful remedies worked invisibly, restoring balance without announcing themselves. That belief feels true here. The alchemist sleeps on, unaware of time, unaware of dreams, resting in a depth where even images dissolve. His breath is so soft it seems to merge with the night itself, rising and falling without sound, without effort. This kind of sleep was once considered sacred, a sign that the body trusted its surroundings completely. You may feel that same trust now, a quiet confidence that nothing needs your attention anymore. Outside, the forest has grown nearly silent. No wings move, no leaves shift. The earth itself seems to pause, holding everything gently in place. In medieval thought, this hour was believed to belong to the unseen balance of the world. When nature restored itself quietly, this restoration feels present now, spreading outward and inward at the same time. Your body feels deeply settled, as though it has found the exact position it was always meant to rest in. There is no urge to adjust, no sensation pulling you back toward awareness. Muscles remain loose and heavy, fully released. The weight of your body feels even, supported, safe. If there is warmth, it is steady and comforting. If there is coolness, it is gentle and refreshing. Everything feels just right. The mind no longer tries to organize or understand. Thoughts do not form clearly enough to follow. They soften before they begin, dissolving into the quiet space behind your awareness. This is not emptiness, it is rest. A deep, natural rest that asks nothing of you. Medieval healers believed that true sleep was a return to simplicity, a temporary release from the burdens of thinking. That simplicity holds you now. Breathing continues quietly, without instruction, in and out. Slow, easy, natural. Each breath feels less noticeable than the last, fading gently into the background. You do not need to listen anymore. You do not need to imagine anymore. Even the story no longer needs your attention. It is simply there, like the night itself, holding the space while you drift. The moonlight has thinned almost completely, blending into the dark. Shadows dissolve into one another. The sense of time stretches until it no longer matters how long anything lasts. There is no beginning here, no ending, only continuation, soft and unbroken. The town remains asleep. The forest remains still. The alchemist rests, his work complete, his presence calm and quiet. And you are resting too, deeper now than before, closer to sleep than waking, perhaps already asleep without realizing it. The story does not move forward anymore. It simply remains, steady and gentle, like a calm hand resting nearby. There is nothing left to guide, nothing left to explain. Sleep knows where to go from here. The night no longer feels like something happening around the world, but something the world itself has become. There is no clear boundary now between the alchemist's chamber, the sleeping town, the forest beyond, or the quiet space where you are resting. Everything blends together into one slow, calm presence, steady and unbroken. This is the hour medieval people believed belonged most deeply to rest, when even thoughts were meant to sleep, when the soul could settle without disturbance. Inside the chamber, nothing changes, and that is exactly as it should be. Stillness has taken over completely. The vial of sleep tonic rests where it was left, wrapped in linen.com. And finished, no longer a project, no longer a task, simply a quiet object holding intention. In medieval belief, intention lingered like warmth in stone, remaining long after the action was complete. That lingering calm seems to fill the room now, gentle and reassuring, like a memory of peace that never fades. The alchemist remains asleep, breathing so softly that it seems to blend into the silence itself. There is no movement except the subtle rise and fall of his chest, slow and natural, guided by instincts older than thought. His dreams are unremarkable and therefore perfect, simple impressions of light, shadow, warmth, and safety. Medieval healers believed that such simple dreams were signs of deep restoration, when the body and mind were doing exactly what they needed to do. Outside, the forest rests without effort. Trees stand quietly, roots deep and secure, branches relaxed. The ground holds the day's warmth, releasing it slowly into the cool air. Somewhere in the distance, water moves gently over stone, a sound so soft it feels more imagined than heard. This slow movement carries no urgency, no direction, only continuity. You may feel yourself carried by that same gentle motion now, drifting without needing to steer. Your body feels heavier now, not in an uncomfortable way, but in a deeply comforting one, as though gravity itself has softened, pulling you downward just enough to keep you grounded and safe. Muscles release without instruction, the face smooths, the tongue rests easily, the eyes sink deeper behind their lids. There is no need to check or adjust anything. Everything has already settled into place. Thoughts, if they appear at all, feel far away, distant echoes rather than clear voices. They rise slowly and fade before forming into anything solid. There is no need to follow them. They dissolve naturally, like ripples smoothing out across still water. The mind understands now that it does not need to stay alert. The night is doing that for you. The moon has nearly completed its journey across the sky, its light thinning, becoming softer, more diffuse. In medieval tradition, this hour was believed to be ruled by deep balance, when the influence of the moon was most gentle. This belief carries through the story now, encouraging everything within it to soften further, to release even the idea of effort. Breathing continues on its own, steady and calm, in and out, slow and quiet. Each breath feels like permission to sink deeper, to let go more fully. There is nothing to hold onto, nothing to remember, nothing waiting on the other side of sleep, only rest. The town remains asleep, unchanged. No footsteps sound on the streets, no doors open, no voices rise. The world has agreed to pause. This pause feels complete, perfect, undisturbed. You are part of that pause now, fully included, fully allowed to rest. The alchemist's work, begun earlier in the evening, has reached its true conclusion not with action, but with stillness. The tonic's purpose has already been fulfilled, not through drinking, but through atmosphere, intention, and quiet presence. Medieval healers understood that healing often happened without being noticed. That understanding settles into the story now, and into you. Nothing more needs to happen. Nothing more needs to be said. The night continues, holding everything gently, effortlessly, without expectation. And as the story fades further into quiet, it does not need an ending, it only needs space, softness, and time. Time that stretches, time that rests, time that sleeps. There is very little to notice now, and that is exactly right. The night has settled so completely that it feels endless, wide, and gentle, like a calm ocean without waves. The medieval town no longer has edges or shapes. It exists only as a feeling of safety and rest. Stone walls, wooden doors, narrow streets all have softened into something abstract, something felt rather than seen. The world is no longer asking to be understood. Inside the alchemist's chamber, the darkness is complete and comforting. It does not press in or feel heavy. It simply holds. The shelves, the table, the bed all remain where they are, but their presence no longer matters. Even the herbs hanging from the beams feel distant now, as though they have returned to the earth in spirit, their purpose fulfilled. Medieval healers believed that when balance was restored, a tension could dissolve. That belief lives quietly here. The alchemist sleeps without dream, without movement, resting in the kind of sleep that feels like being gently folded into the night itself. His breath is barely perceptible, steady and calm, a rhythm so soft it blends into the stillness. This is the sleep that requires no effort, no surrender, as surrender has already happened. You may sense yourself drifting into that same depth now, where awareness fades without resistance. Your body feels distant, yet safe. Sensation softens. Weight becomes neutral. There is no clear boundary between where you end and where the resting place beneath you begins. Everything supports everything else. Muscles remain loose, not because you are relaxing them, but because they no longer need tension at all. Medieval thinkers believed that sleep was a temporary return to the earth's rhythm, and that rhythm carries you now. The mind is quiet, not empty, but spacious. There are no thoughts forming clearly enough to follow. If anything appears, it fades immediately, like a whisper heard through thick walls. You do not need to notice this happening. It simply does. The night has taken over the work of thinking for you. Breathing continues somewhere in the background, slow and even. It feels distant now, like a sound heard from far away, in and out, without instruction, without awareness. Just movement continuing on its own. Each breath carries you deeper into stillness. Not pulling, not pushing, just allowing. The forest beyond the town no longer makes sound. Even silence feels soft here, layered and warm. The earth rests. The sky rests. The moonlight has fully faded into darkness, and darkness itself feels gentle, protective, complete. Medieval nights were long and unbroken, free from artificial light, and this deep darkness was trusted. It was believed to restore what daylight scattered. That restoration is happening now. Time no longer stretches or passes. It simply exists as a steady presence. There is no sense of before or after. The story no longer unfolds, it rests. The alchemist's work is not remembered, because remembering is no longer necessary. Only the feeling remains calm, balance, rest. You are no longer listening in the usual sense. The sound of my voice blends into the night, becoming part of the background, like wind moving gently through distant trees. You do not need to follow words. You do not need to imagine anything. Sleep has already begun to carry you where you need to go. There is no longer a sense of story, only a feeling that everything is exactly as it should be. The medieval night has settled into its deepest layer, where nothing asks for attention and nothing needs to move. The town, the forest, the alchemist's chamber all exist as a single, quiet presence. Not seen, not heard. Simply felt, faintly, like warmth lingering after a fire has gone out. The alchemist remains asleep, but even the idea of him begins to soften and blur. He is no longer a figure in a room, but a calm within the calm, a gentle point of stillness that does not draw focus. Medieval healers believed that at the deepest level of rest, identity itself loosened, allowing the body and mind to repair without interruption. That loosening is present now. Names no longer matter. Images no longer matter. Only rest remains. Your body feels distant and light at the same time. Heavy enough to stay, light enough to drift. Sensation fades without effort. The bed beneath you, the air around you, the sound of breathing all blend together into one soft background presence. Breathing happens somewhere far away. It is slow, steady, and quiet, but it no longer needs to be noticed. All without effort, all without awareness. Thoughts do not appear anymore. If something flickers briefly, it dissolves before it can take shape. The mind has released its need to create or follow anything. Medieval thinkers believed this state was the truest form of rest, when the mind returned to simplicity. That simplicity holds you now, steady and complete. Time has no direction here. It does not move forward or backward. It simply is. Nothing is being asked of you now. The night has taken over completely, holding everything in a calm that does not shift or change. The medieval world that once existed in shapes and places has softened into pure stillness. There are no streets, no walls, no rooms, only a quiet sense of safety that stretches gently in every direction. The story no longer moves forward, because there is nowhere it needs to go. The alchemist is no longer separate from the night. He rests within it, indistinguishable from the calm itself. In, out, then space, then another breath. There is no need to notice it. It happens on its own. The mind is quiet in a way that feels permanent, even though it is gentle and temporary. No thoughts form, no images appear. There is no story to follow, no sound to listen for. Even the idea of listening has faded. Medieval thinkers described this as a return to simplicity, a moment when the mind rested as deeply as the body. That simplicity surrounds you now. The darkness is complete and kind. It does not hide anything. It does not reveal anything. It simply exists, steady and unchanging. There is no need to imagine light returning. There is no need to think about morning. Night is enough. Time does not pass here. It rests. Minutes do not matter. Hours do not matter. Everything that needs to happen will happen without your awareness. Sleep is doing its work quietly. The world remains still. The night remains calm. You remain at rest. Nothing shifts. Nothing calls. Nothing needs attention. And if this moment were to repeat itself again and again, it would feel exactly the same, safe, quiet, complete. Rest continues. Sleep continues. Silence continues. There is nothing left to arrive at now. The night has already settled into its deepest stillness, and everything rests within it without effort. The medieval world no longer exists as a place or a time, only as a feeling of calm that has always been here. The alchemist, the town, the forest, and you are no longer separate things. They are part of the same quiet presence, steady and complete. Breathing continues somewhere far away, so soft it does not interrupt the silence. The body remains fully supported, fully at ease, held gently by the surface beneath it and the darkness around it. There is no need to adjust, no need to respond. Everything that could soften has softened. Everything that could rest is resting. Thought does not return. Awareness does not sharpen. Nothing pulls you upward toward waking. Medieval healers believed that this depth of rest was a kind of returner, temporary forgetting, that allowed the body and mind to restore themselves naturally. That restoration is happening now, quietly, without being noticed. The night does not move forward, it simply remains. Darkness feels warm and safe, like a familiar place you have always known. There is no sense of time passing, no memory forming. Sleep holds everything gently, without demand. Nothing more is said, nothing more is needed. The story has faded completely now. leaving only rest behind, and you remain asleep.